My name is Lieutenant Colonel Ray D. Arriganaga, Air Force retired, and I flew the OV-10 in combat in South Vietnam with the United States Army's 1st Infantry Division. Way the hell back in the 1960s, the Air Force came up with a requirement for an aircraft that was referred to as the Lima Alpha Romeo Alpha, LARA, Light Armed Reconnaissance Aircraft. So the whole idea was that this particular airplane could be used in the counterinsurgency warfare role and could go out, and it would be armed with bombs, rockets, and of course it had the guns. So the whole idea was that this machine could be used in its own self-contained environment. On an hourly basis, we usually had a set of fighters that were assigned to our brigade, and we would get the target from our brigade operations people, and they would tell us to go out into the area of operations, which I'll refer to as the AO, and make contact with one of the 3 to 4 battalions that were attached to that particular brigade. And then generally they would have a particular target that they wanted us to strike. So the strike process was kind of interesting. And generally what would happen is that we would meet by radio on a predetermined frequency, and within a couple of minutes of the appointed time, we would hear the fighters check in. Once the fighters were overhead, we would establish visual contact, and then I would tell them the disposition of the ground forces, the location of the target from the ground forces, the nearest distance, normally in terms of meters, and ask them if they were ready to start the operation. And once they had me in sight visually, then the next action would be to fire a white phosphorus rocket onto the target. Now, this particular airplane would carry 2 pods of 7 white phosphorus rockets each. So that gave us 14 rockets that we could use to mark a target, and generally that would be adequate. So 1 rocket generally per pass, and the corrections that would be given to the fighters would be on target, or number 2, go ahead and drop your bombs, 50 to 100 meters north or south or east or west or what have you from the last explosion, and possibly we would go in again and mark the target a second time if need be. And at the end of that, after all their ordnance had been expended, then we would provide them with what we call the BDA, the Bomb Damage Assessment. And we would tell them what we could see in terms of the damage that the ordnance did to the desired target. And then at the end of that time, they would just go back to their home plate.